Good morning. My name is Naomi Grattan, and I'm the President and CEO at Fort Calgary. This morning, I'm here to talk to you about the Walk for Reconciliation. It's an annual walk that began in 2009 to commemorate Stephen Harper's formal apology to the survivors of residential schools. The walk seeks to acknowledge the larger conversation and active movement towards reconciliation while honoring residential school survivors and their communities. This year, the walk is going virtual, so we're encouraging all of you to record your own walk for reconciliation in your own communities. Share it with us by tagging the hashtag WFR2020. We'd ask you to reflect while you walk on the history and the legacy of residential schools and how you can contribute to the project of reconciliation. I want to thank our partners, the Aspen Family and Community Network Centre, the Aboriginal Friendship Centre of Calgary, Sunrise Community Link Resource Centre, and the Alex Community Health Centre.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the 11th Annual Reconciliation Walk. We're so excited to be walking today. Unfortunately, we're walking virtually. However, for me, that's really exciting. 2 years ago, I had to cut my walk short, and last year, because of my health, I could hardly walk. And this year, I was going to walk with my backpack, my battery pack. However, now I'm walking virtually, and I'm so excited. This is such an amazing event, and over the years, it has grown because it is so important. It's important for the messaging. It's important for the people that come together. It's important for our city and for our country for us to do these kind of things to make sure that we honor each other and that we realize that we're people together living in an amazing land, and that we need to work on reconciliation. And how do we work on it? And we need to think about the little things that contribute. So this walk is one of those things. And with Charlotte's help and the help of so many other people, this walk has actually been an annual event, and we are so privileged to be part of it.
sometimes the residential school wasn't very far away, but we weren't allowed, and the parents weren't allowed to go see them. And so with this reconciliation walk, it's in recognition of all the residential school survivors and all of those people that were affected by that. In 1996 was the last residential school that closed, and the last child that went to residential school just finished university. And you're thinking, well, your math, I know I'm a social worker, my math isn't that good, but you know, the parents brought their baby and put it on the doorsteps of the residential school. And then a few months later, that residential school closed. And so she would be about 24 or something like that, just out of university age. And so if you think residential schools are 100 years ago, or even 50 or 20 years ago, yeah, I guess it's 20 years ago. But you know, all the outcomes of residential school are happy.
Hello and welcome to Sunrise Community Link Resource Center. My name is Salima and I was born in Vancouver, British Columbia. My parents are originally from East Africa, Tanzania. Here at Sunrise, we acknowledge that all of our work takes place on the traditional territory of the people of Treaty 7. In southern Alberta, this includes the Siksina, Piikani, Kainai, Tsuut'ina, and the Stoney Nakoda nations of Chiniki, Wesley, and Bearpaw. This land is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3.
And my name is Taylor. I'm a community advocate at Sunrise, and I grew up in the Treaty 7 lands as a settler in this space. I want to take a moment to speak to how grateful we are to be a part of a team working to make the Walk for Reconciliation a reality during this really uncertain time. We know that one of the intentions of the Walk for Reconciliation has always been to foster connection in community, and the connection is vital now more than ever during a time when the world is collectively struggling with global community grief.
Let's talk for a second about what reconciliation means to us here at Sunrise. Here at Sunrise, reconciliation is about acknowledging and growing our understanding of the deep systemic racism and discrimination that has been facing our Indigenous people for the entire history of Canada. We acknowledge the history, we acknowledge the trauma, we acknowledge the bad policies, bad procedures, and bad politics that have reached us to this moment. However, we would like to be a part of creating change. At Sunrise, we really believe in equity, and we believe that equity means intentional fairness. We would like to continue to be allies in intentionally creating actions that build the fairness of Canada for all people and ensures that the Indigenous people no longer are living under discriminatory and racist policies. We'd also be very happy and are very happy to be participating in all community development initiatives like this one.
And I was thinking about what reconciliation meant to me, and I was thinking that historically and contemporarily, the intention of colonization and the system surrounding it has been to oppress and demean and reduce the significance of Indigenous learning, teaching, and community. As a white settler social worker, I know that I have a role to play as I acknowledge the systems that are in place and work actively to dismantle them. However, my more vital role at this point is to work and to pass the mic to Indigenous communities. And I don't know I don't always have a role in speaking to reconciliation. So I have to listen and sit in the discomfort that can come from listening. I have the amazing opportunity working with Sunrise to listen to Indigenous voices about their experiences with trauma and colonization, but also about their joy and beauty of community. There is big and small steps that need to be taken with reconciliation, but we all have a role to play.
Mm-hmm. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Walk for Reconciliation for making this a reality and for the community that participates in being a part of this important event. We may be separated, but we'll never stop talking about reconciliation. We'll never stop talking about taking intentional actions to create a better landscape for all of us as Canadians.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, itaniku sakukuto nyuhtuutu käänä. In our culture, it's always good to introduce yourself. And Oki is hello, Nitaniku is my name is Sakukuto. And I come from the Altall people clan. And having that relationship is really important for us. Just think that's been ongoing for thousands of years. And even the spot that we're here today, we're at the confluence of two rivers. And even this time of the year is a time of celebration. This is when people come together. And this particular spot is also a place of gathering where the people would come here for many different purposes. There's either for ceremony or just for hunting, or all the medicines that they need from the land is right in this very spot and in other places. But being here and looking at the beings of the sky, I seen an eagle just a few minutes ago. And this is where we begin to enjoy all the gifts that come from the land, from the water, from the air, and even the sky. And it's a time of celebration. And where we are now is an amazing place. It is a traditional territory, but at the same time, we have many nations that are here. And that's what makes this a beautiful place to be. And it's a time of coexistence when we share a lot of things and to share our lives, stories, and experiences as well. Now we look at what happened to us throughout this past few hundred years. We call it the dark history. And the impact that had with our people. We're still feeling that today. We talk about the education system and the multi-generational impacts of a total foreign system that was introduced to our people. But we have to understand that we are very resilient. We know how to survive. Just like the ancestors, they knew how to survive on a land. And everything that they needed is right in this area. Now, reconciliation is a huge, huge topic. And this is being acknowledged right throughout North America, and the impact of this dark history on our people. But I think we've gone beyond that, where we've shared with the world the experiences that we've had, but at the same time, we're showcasing the success of our people. The public needs to know that and to understand what is actually happening in our communities. And we have to look at the contributions that have been made to society for the past 100 years. We can't ignore that. We need to acknowledge that, to celebrate with these people for things that they have done and their contributions to society. This is a beautiful place to be, and it's often referred to as Mohkinstis, which means elbow. But it's always been called Mohkinstis for centuries. And this is just one area within the territory that recognizes how people have survived, have recognized all of the things that have been left behind by the ancestors. And you see that on the land. And all the stories that are shared, it is still alive today. And I feel we're very fortunate that we still have our stories, because all of our languages are not written languages, where stories are very important. And this is what we're sharing with the young people, for them to begin to understand the importance of sharing stories, and also to teach them good values that they need to know to be a good person. We are all good people here. And this is how we can go out and to enjoy what the Creator has given us, the gifts of the land. And we always call Mother Earth Na'a. You gonna edit that? Okay. So this is a time of celebration. And this is where we always acknowledge the higher power, Natusi, the Creator, which is the source of life. and how we prepare ourselves throughout the year. This time of the year is when we start preparing ourselves for the next quarter. And every quarter is a time of celebration. And that's how the people lived. And that's how they're able to understand the things that they need to know about the land. And that's how the ancestors lived. But that survived because of stories and why our elders have a very important role and knowledge keepers as well. And it's important that we share this information in a very positive way so people can begin to understand a way of life that has existed here for thousands of years. So coexistence is very important to our people because that's how we survived. And I feel it's necessary to acknowledge that. But what's really important is to see how resilient we are as people. We survived. That dark period is not our history, and it does not define who we are as people. It's just an experience. And I always convey this message to people. Sometimes we feel, what happened? What could I have done to make a difference? We can make a difference today. And that's what's really important, is that beginning. And I encourage everyone to enjoy life, and especially what's happening to us today. It is an awakening. And I always see the positive, the things that we need to, what we learned from that, and how we can apply that to our lives, to the community, and to all people. I don't consider myself a survivor. I overcame what happened to me many years ago. And that's what the difference is.
Good afternoon, Tansi. My name is Douglas Scott Monroe. I was born in Sutuna Nation. My mom was from residential school. I was adopted out at the age of 2 years old, and I was taken away, put it into a religious organization, and then adopted into the Alberta government. And I was a ward of the government and adopted out into a non-Aboriginal family. Because all the cops hated me. Back in the 80s, when I was 18, I was viewed as a arrogant little prick. And I was more ganged up on than I was as a regular native. They're like, oh, we'll just take the charge and go to jail. That's what we do. For me, I fought all the time. When I started with the Alex, I was basically on the street for 4 years. And then finding out I had all those anger issues and Indian issues and addiction issues actually weren't a problem, but I was making them into a problem. And then I was on medication, and I no longer was violent. I was no longer angry at being lost. Next thing you know, 4 years later, here I am, taking care of myself, eating well, exercising and stuff like that. So. Oh, I still live with the trauma. After going through talking to the doctor or something like that, I always have that heavy feeling. And then you have to work your way out of that. And a lot of that is you have rest, food. I don't have any feelings towards it because, first of all, I haven't been reconciliated with yet, and I'm still not a member of my tribe, and I'm still not a member of society, basically. If it wasn't for the Alex, I wouldn't even be attempting to be part of society, but I am trying to attempt to be part of society. And it's just, the only reason I'm here is because of the Alex.
The time has come for us to answer the calls of truth and reconciliation. The Alex has been in Calgary as a stable for the community, offering health and social solutions for 46 years. We are situated on Treaty 7 land. We need to ensure that our space is inclusive, it's warm, and it's welcoming for the Indigenous community. And we're here today to say that the time is now, the time is right, and we need to answer the call.